Hi, and welcome to Create. My name is Mark, and today we're going to be creating barbecue spare ribs on the Weber grill. These ribs will be smoked indirectly on the grill. But before we get to the grill, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out to watch our channel today, and hopefully you'll all subscribe if you like these videos. You also can click the notification button to make sure that you get the new uploads. But let's get right into it. You can see here that I'm washing and prepping the pork spare ribs. This is a St. Louis cut spare rib, and it's going to be very delicious. We're not going to even use the top brisket part of it. That's all been cut off, which makes it a St. Louis cut spare rib. It's not a baby back, though, so don't get confused with that. You can use baby back, but certainly the St. Louis will give you a little bit more flavor, I believe, in my estimation. So let's get it all cleaned up. You can see that you really have to take your time to make sure you kind of clean about 80% of the fat off of it. The rest will render down. Now keep in mind, when you're doing this cleaning process, you just don't want to just use the water. You can use some apple cider vinegar, some regular vinegar, and kind of wash it down. It kind of helps with the cleaning and getting the funk, so to speak, off the ribs. But it also will tenderize the meat during this process. Keep in mind, we're going to marinate these ribs before we put them on the grill. You do not have to marinate them if you don't want to, but the depth of flavor is a lot better if you marinate them and let them sit for a while. So you can see here we got the lemon, we've got the apple cider vinegar, we're washing them off. On the back end, we've actually taken off the little piece that you can peel off, all of the things that can peel off, peel them off. Some people leave them on. If you really are experienced at barbecuing, you can leave it on as long as you know you got to cook it down to render all of that out of there. So go ahead and pat it down dry. This is a real important part here to make sure it's cleaned and pat it down dry. And once you clean it, you pat it down dry. You can leave it out in the air on a screen and just let it sit for a while. And then you can go ahead and get the seasoning out like we're doing here. We're going to rub it down. Again, you can use any rub you want. You can just use salt and pepper, uh, however you like your meat season, or if you're experimenting to find out, just try a couple different ones on different occasions and just try to get the opinions of the people that are eating it, see what it tastes like. Um, Obviously, I'm using a rub that I'm comfortable with that I've used before. So this one right here is a winner. So we're going to use this rub to marinate the rib. And you can see here, I'm actually rubbing it in on the front, on the back, on the sides. Um, you want to make sure that you hit every piece and cover every piece of the rib here to make sure that it's going to be right. Um, we did this differently than we did the other rib that we've done on our channel. That was fried on the inside, the salt and pepper ribs. This one's going outside, so we're going to go ahead and marinate it real good and put it on the top shelf in the refrigerator. And you can marinate it overnight or for at least 2 hours. We happen to marinate this one overnight. And you can see that the marinade has sunken into the meat, which will give it the nice, rich flavor that is going to come here. So we've taken it out to the grill. Um, Grilling is something that you have to control. Okay, you have to control the heat. And when you're doing things, you can use direct heat or you can use indirect heat. You can use wood chips, or maybe you don't want to use wood chips. Maybe you want to use wood chunks. You can use any type of charcoal you want. But just make sure you control the heat. That is very important because if you control it like if you're on the inside, then that's good. It's always good to have a Weber or something with a temperature gauge on it. So, and you can see here, I'm pointing to that for a reason because you want to make sure you control the heat. I've got it on indirect heat right now, and I haven't even flipped it yet. And you can see that the color has changed on the rib. It's been on here probably for about 40 minutes in direct heat. And you can see that it's working already, and it's kind of juicy. You can see that it's separating from the bone a little bit. Um, those type of things are indications that you're cooking it slow, and the flavor is really going to be there. You can see it's not over the direct heat, but the temperature on the Weber grill was anywhere between, say, 300 to 350 all the way up to 400 indirectly. Um, and you got to play with it just to make sure that your rib that you're cooking is right. So it does require you, although it's indirect heat, it does require you to watch it and to make sure that it's cooking evenly and not burning. And you can see here that we don't have it over the direct heat, so it's not going to burn as long as you watch it. Now we're going to flip it over here on the bone side down as we started. And we're going to do a final kind of a glaze with the barbecue sauce. You don't want the barbecue sauce to be heavy on here. And you'll hear me say that all the time. You want to taste the meat. The meat is what you actually doing this for. You're not doing it for the sauce. Although it's good to get your best favorite or your favorite barbecue sauce to use. But you can see that the meat is shrinking up on the bones. This is now ready. And it's done its job. The Weber has done its job. It's cooked slow. The meat is really juicy and it's hot and ready to go. It takes a long time to cool off, so I just got it on the inside, put my gloves on, I'm ready to cut it. Bone sides up to cut so you can see the bones and you can cut it evenly. The bone that I was laying out right there, it kind of slipped out as I was doing this process, and which leads me to believe that the meat is going to be very tender. You don't want it to be fall off the bone tender when you're doing this open pit style. You kind of want it to have just a little tug off the bone, if you know what I mean. So this is very good. I'm turning them over so you can see what I've done here, just to see the presentation. And if you look real closely, I'll zoom in here. You can see that the juices are right there. This is a very juicy. It's got the smoke ring on the outside, and the juice is on the inside. These ribs are delicious. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time.